Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking the opportunity to talk about a 2-1 buy down, what you should be aware of, and go into an example. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So this example is purely based just on that. An example, it's not indicative of current market rates or current scenario, and just to give simple numbers to show you what a 2-1 buy down would look like. So initially, you're going to have to qualify at the note rate or the current rate, which in this example is 7%, with a payment of $1,000 and zero seller subsidies, because that is what the start rate is. So in year one, you're going to be reduced by 2%. That's where the 2 and the 2-1 buy down comes into play. And the difference in payment is $200, which would be times by 12 months in that first year to give you $2,400 in seller subsidy. In year 2, it's going to be reduced by 1%, not 1% off of the 5% or in year 1, but 1% off of the start rate, which will give you a difference of $100, which is $1,200 for seller subsidies, totaling out to $3,600. Now, what would happen if in this scenario you decide that you want to refinance or sell out of this particular mortgage during this 2-1 buy down scenario in the first 2 years? Well, let's just say that in 18 months you decide that you want to refinance and get into a lower rate. What would happen is your seller subsidy or the credit that you received would then be applied to your principal. So by doing the calculations, whenever that time frame happens, it would then be applied to your principal for your loan payoff in a refinance or sale. Some things I want you to take into consideration with a 2-1 buy down is you as the borrower must qualify at the current rate or note rate. So as we showed in our example, you start at 7%. So you would have to qualify at that rate, even though you would get a 5% or 6% in the first 2 years. That is just our qualifying standards. This will help you to ease into your payments over the next 2 years. Obviously, with where rates have been, there's obviously been some influx, and it obviously increases some people's mortgage payments. So this will help you in your first 2 years, and then there's always opportunities down the line should there be a change in our current rate environment. Additionally, seller subsidy, the remaining of that is going to be applied to the principal. As we said, say you decide to refinance or sell at month 18, it would then go to your principal for that difference. One big thing to take into consideration, it is a seller paid option, not a buyer paid. The seller subsidy is a seller credit. So you as the buyer are not doing this particular scenario. It would have to come from the seller side. Well, I hope that example was extremely beneficial for you to understand some of the ins and outs of a 2-1 buy down, but furthermore, going into some detail about that seller credit or seller subsidy and how it gets applied. If you do have any questions or looking to do a 2-1 buy down for your current mortgage or future mortgage, reach out to us and we are happy to run a scenario for you to get you the best options for today. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.